Chapter 17, 5:10 a.m. The upended submarine continues to sink slowly but surely, a long, long journey to the bottom of the sea. Flynn and the little lady found the darkness and the salt water closing in on them, but at the last second, something saved them. Now it looks down at them quietly. Goodness, I'm cold. My head is filled with one giant question. What in the world is this thing? Is that just random pieces? Robot Man! What? I see you managed to survive, Detective. Hey, you're... Excuse my appearance, I seem to have lost my body. Oh, and you there. You're the ghost who's been saving Lynn all evening, aren't you? You knew about me all along? Of course. What else would explain all those unnatural things happening?
If you knew, how come you didn't do anything about it all the time? And how come you decided to save us all of a sudden? I thought you wanted to get revenge on us.
I don't really know. Please, you gotta tell me. I need to know. Who in the world are you?
Sissel, look at you. What happened?
I can't hold on to that image of myself any longer. You can't remember who you are? That's right. I came all this way tonight trying to chase down my lost memory. For quite a bit of tonight, I thought it was you, Sissel. Sissel, my name isn't Sissel. I bet you'll remember it really soon. Who you are and who I am too. What?
Come on, give me answers.
The man in front of me is not me. I'm even further away from the truth. Maybe not. Something is stirring in my mind and a memory about to emerge. Do I know this man? Now that I've shed my image of myself, I feel like I'm one step closer to the truth. They got us good. It's all over for this submarine. Its engine room is destroyed, there's a hole in the hull, and it's sinking as we speak.
What are you doing here? I thought you had to deal with those people.
They betrayed me. I was a fool to trust them. They already have what they wanted now. A Themis fragment. I didn't know they had it all figured out.
You mean they figured out the source of your powers?
Yeah, the meteorite radiating has two effects on the living creatures. It gives power and time.
If you don't mind, we'd like to hear more.
Alright, time to get some answers. These 10 years, I've been watching the junkyard superintendent do his research, and I think I kind of got some of it figured out. The meteorite radiation gives spirits special powers, like possession and manipulating objects.
And in my case, swapping objects.
Exactly. Apparently there are individual differences in these powers we get. And it seems these powers change as time goes by. They do? Yeah, my powers changed over these past 10 years. At first, I could only manipulate small, living creatures. And then, how do you suppose we got these powers? It's simple.
It is? How then?
In a nutshell, we died while exposed to the energy emitted by the meteorite and its radiation.
That's what does it? dying while being exposed to the radiation?
On that day 10 years ago. A fragment of the meteorite pierced my heart and I died. So of course I received special powers.
Hey, wait a minute. Isn't that how I got my powers too? You know you must be right.
He died. Yeah, I was right about that. Holy smokes.
Aren't the chemistry men still right there in the park? At the bottom of the crater?
You're right. So that must mean I must have died in the presence of meteorite radiation too. Another effect a meteorite radiation has on us is that it gives us time. Again, I think this time effect is centered around that theme of death, but it's not all that clear. So the fact that I can return to 4 minutes before a person's death is another effect of the meteorite. One of the characteristics of that meteorite is its ability to replay the moment of death.
Replay the moment of death? Ah, this is all so strange and confusing. I can take it all in. It makes about as much sense as to me as anything else.
Yeah, strange and confusing. That just sums it up. An object that pierced my body that day. Thanks to that meteorite fragment, my very existence is a contradiction. What do you mean? It's a juicy contradiction? That day, when the fragment pierced my heart, I lost my life. However, because it remained inside of me, the fragment continued to constantly regenerate my body. In other words, my body was continuously cycling between the moments that separated my life and death.
What?
My body's vital function stopped 10 years ago, but my body's time is perpetually stopped at the moment just before death. Time just stopped, huh? So I just simply existed, not really alive and not really dead. Pretty much sums up these last 10 years. Sorry, I got something in my eye. It's 10 years for me, ever since the incident in the park. My body hasn't aged a day, my hair hasn't grown an inch. Come to think of it, the old pigeon guy mentioned something. He said he couldn't cut this guy's body with a scalpel.
So I guess as soon as the incision was made, his body would be regenerated. Wow.
That was a pretty late wow. I read all of it, and then I just skipped it. Before I left this country, I wanted to do one thing. I wanted to get revenge on the people who stole our lives.
Our lives?
As part of the deal, I made those guys promise to cooperate.
Cooperate? You mean the kidnapping?
It all went fine. I manipulated the justice minister and made him issue the execution order. But I thought he might call off the execution in the last second.
So that's why you
kidnapped his daughter.
But they kidnapped the wrong girl.
Little did I know. They had their own reasons for cooperating with me.
Huh?
The objective was to wipe out everybody who had to do with the Temes. Detective Zhao was the one such person, so they were happy to cooperate. Inspector Cabanella and Junkyard Super, they were slated to be wiped out too. And as it turns out, I was one of their targets as well. So they stole my Temis fragment, and here I am. But they had one more final target. You, Detective.
Me?
One final target. If you weren't there in the park that day 10 years ago, I would have thought of doing something as stupid as taking a hostage.
Oh, okay. But I was just a little kid playing in the park.
Yeah, I know.
Huh?
10 years later, you become a detective looking into Jout's case. Tonight, I invited you to a quiet spot on the edge of town. It was a trap, you see. I told you who I was. You never saw my face that day 10 years ago. So, of course, you didn't recognize me. Is who we call Cecil the cat? You see the cat that was in that bag? I took possession of you to make you shoot me. Oh, okay, so that's why you stood there. Your subconscious resisted me such incredible power. It was the first time I wasn't able to control somebody completely. The aim was off and the first shot missed the mark. Or maybe he left in the cat. I'm not sure. The junkyard was equipped with security cameras and I knew you'd be wanted for murder. That was my plan anyway. They had other ideas. They simply wanted you wiped out. But then, something threw a big monkey wrench into their scheme. I showed up. I was supposed to meet up with them after that. But then something went wrong. What happened? My body disappeared. The inspector in white was responsible for that one. My precious bargaining chip was in that body. I had to get it back no matter what. The inspector caused me no end of trouble.
But why were those people targeting me? I never even heard of the Themis meteorite.
Because you were looking into Jout's case. They thought you would find out about the Themis sooner or later. Is Camellia gonna wake up, or should she just chill there? And that's pretty much the whole story. The only thing left to do now is wait for the water pressure to crush the submarine.
Oh no.
There are no cores that link from here to the water surface. I have an idea. We hook up the phone line and there are no communications cable down this deep. They meant for the submarine to be my coffin, a coffin from the dead. There's no escape.
I think I kinda understand now. What you've been feeling these 10 years.
You what?
This feeling cut off from the world. All alone in a submarine. Sinking slowly toward the bottom of the endless sea. This must be how you felt all along. Lynn? Camellia! Is it true? We're stuck here? Wait! Oh, no! If my dad was here, I bet he'd save us.
He probably is. He'd probably get him barging in.
Oh, Camellia, I'm so sorry!
That's funny. What is it, Cecil? There's something I don't understand. Why would they go to all the trouble of detaching the control room? What? Why didn't they just steal the Temnus fragment and escape if is that what they wanted? Why did they have to jetson your body off into the sea? That's a good question. But I guess it doesn't matter why now. We'll never find it again. We have no idea where it was launched to.
Wait a minute! Yes, we do! This will tell us where Detective Jowd is.
That present from the inspector in white.
That's right, Detective Jowd told me to hold on to it for him. And the bullet is still in the person's body in the command room, right? And we should be able to tell exactly where it is with this.
But if we find out where it is, how do we get there?
We should be able to figure out something out between the three of us. For our powers, right, Miss Lynn?
Right.
Oh, and wait a minute. What about the torpedo?
A torpedo?
In any case, it's way too early to give up.
Looks like Detective Jowd is our last hope.
Come on, let's